Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston, and I made this video right here yesterday. This is about a TEDx talk with Jenny Adams explaining Project IceCube, a mountain-sized telescope that's under a mile of ice. And for whatever reason, there's absolutely no volume on this rather long video. And in this video, Jenny Adams, you see, I will not use any of TEDx's works because they will take your channel right down. They have no tolerance at all. She was explaining the mountain-sized telescope that they have that's under a mile of ice that's searching for protons. That's the long story short, okay? They have this enormous telescope. They have this website, IceCube South Pole Neutrino Observatory, and she's explaining all sorts of stuff like this. In the long story short that I came up with, well, first of all, this is one thing she's explaining. How they got this so-called telescope a mile under the Antarctic ice. She claims that they used a water drill, which uses hot water and melts the ice. And she said it takes 33 hours for it to remelt again. Now, I have a long plumbing history, a long plumbing background, and I do a lot of heat, radiant heat, hydronic, stuff like that, and I always have. None of this makes any sense. How could you possibly get water hot enough at the Antarctic to get it under this ice to put this telescope into position, as she claims? And then what I finally figured out after watching this and trying to decode what it is she was saying, it came to me that she's indeed, these people, this project, IceCube, is working together with CERN and their Awake project. What they're doing here at Antarctic is to see if the Awake project is actually working, because I, like many other channels, believe that the Nephilim are underneath the ice, and that's why the ice is there. Do you see what I'm saying? That they're trapped under there, and this is what the telescope allegedly looks like. Again, this is the footprint of the telescope. Notice that it's an octagon, much like CERN's. But at any rate, this video, I couldn't possibly redo this video even if I could, because it was too long. And again, they took away my audio for whatever reason. So apparently I'm striking a nerve. The one thing I did say in this is that it was very odd that last year, dignitaries, elitist, Skull and Bones members, all sorts of people met at the Antarctic for one reason or another. And I said that because of the August 21st solar eclipse that's going to traverse west to east in the United States, the primordial egg, the Ogdode, that they were going to use this opportunity to try to open the pit. That's what the video was about. It was 10 minutes long. I just put it in 3 minutes. Long story short. Now, moving on. One of my subscribers, 𝗦𝗵𝗿𝗍𝗱, just sent me this newspaper article, and it's from February 8th, 2013, and it's the BBC News. And if you look at this, this is crazy. Scientists testing for Northern Ireland giant gene. And this is something we've been telling you about for a long time. I don't know how any of us missed this, but here it is, right here in front of your face. They are indeed. All the DNA research, all the junk DNA that they lie about, all the blood tests, everything they're doing is they're trying to isolate the people that are still of the Nephilim bloodline, the people that are still alive. Now, speaking of that, Timothy Alberino, Steve Quayle put out a video that was 2 hours long. It cost $15, and I got it and watched it, and they were talking about the giants of Sardinia in Italy, off the coast of Italy, and it was an okay video. I mean, if they probably didn't take Cadillac Escalades and helicopter flights everywhere, the video probably could have cost $9.99. But I digress. Their video didn't really bring anything new to light. All they had was people from Italy claiming they were of giant descent, so forth and so on. People like this fella right here claims that his family was of giants and that there were giant bones all over the island of Sardinia. You know what I mean? Lots of stuff like that. So it was interesting, but it didn't really bring anything new to the table. Not that I was aware of. And they showed a lot of buildings on the island of Sardinia that were built just like 𝗦𝗵𝗿𝗱. It was the old style building technology that we don't have any longer. And it was everywhere, much like this right here. So in my opinion, and from the personal research, the traveling to the Great Serpent Mound, to all the mounds I could in the United States, I believe there's more than enough evidence to prove that giants were indeed real. And when they do tear the veil, like I speak about all the time, when they do tear the veil, their goal, people say, the demons are already on the earth right now. Well, I understand that. What I'm telling you, what my opinion is, and what I believe is going to happen, they are trying to either reanimate or give the fallen ones, the Nephilim, the spirits that cannot go to heaven, that cannot be redeemed, they're going to try to give them a body in our human existence. So if it was a 35-foot tall giant with 10 arms and 3 heads, it'll be in our reality. We are literally going to see mythology and ancient stories, fairy tales, so forth and so on, come to life in real life. If you look at this giant mound, the Great Serpent Mound, that, I mean, I'm 600 feet off the ground right here, not in a helicopter, mind you, but with a drone. There's the Ogdode. There's the thing that's going to occur on August 21st, and the snake is trying to swallow it. There's the snake, and where is it coming from? It's coming out of a spiral, or it's coming out of a portal. Now, this may all sound ridiculous and crazy to you, but if you read ancient writings, if you go around and read ancient newspaper articles, which are still pretty bountiful, you can find them everywhere. They were writing about giants and the discovery of bones and everything all over the United States and the world very regularly until, of course, the Smithsonian swooped in and all that information got lost, and then evolution took hold. Because evolution doesn't work if there were giants, because according to evolution, we're the biggest, best, smartest that there has ever been. We're the pinnacle of humanity when that's not the case at all. We are smaller, slower, weaker, and far, far dumber than our predecessors, and that's the exact opposite history that they teach us. At any rate, if you want to see the Great Serpent Mound in 4K, the video's still up. It didn't get very many views, which is sad because it's the only video of the Great Serpent Mound on YouTube right now that's still in 4K. But I digress. Back to this. Scientists in Belfast want to establish if the genetic blip that saw an 18th century Irishman sprout to more than 7.5 feet is widespread in the area that he was from. Now, they're going to put a little twist on it like, oh, he was big like a basketball player. That's not what they're looking for whatsoever. They're looking for the actual genes of the descendants of Atlantis, or whatever you want to call it, the Golden Age. So let's listen to what this article had to say back in 2013, and nobody seemed to notice.
I am a 6'9" ex-giant, I say it because I'm a treated giant.
At 6'4", I'm no shorty, but like most others, I have to look up to Brendan Holland. And he's not even the tallest person to have come from Tyrone. Brendan is related to Charles Byrne, known as the Irish Giant. Born near Cookstown 250 years ago, he stood more than 7.5 feet tall.
The question which I kept asking was, why am I this particular height? I've got 7 siblings and they're not, so why me, basically?
Well, you can't really understand them, but that was a nice little visual right there. But this is, again, them covering up the truth. The truth is in plain sight, but they still have to twist it like, oh, these guys were as tall as basketball players, and that's not exactly accurate whatsoever at all. And again, the evidence was worldwide. Now, this is Jim Vieira. He had that television show. He started out on YouTube. He's a homeboy from Boston. He's from Western Massachusetts. You can tell by the accent. They gave him a television show on the History Channel, and he probably thought they were going to let him go, but they didn't. They'll never let you uncover the truth. They'll simply take it and manipulate it. They saw that he was making too much headway. They put him on television and basically ruined him, in my opinion. But let's listen to Jim.
Dolls for an EpiPen. There's lots of conspiracies that are out there. But this idea that professionals are involved in conspiracy, there's just nothing to it. And the idea that professionals wouldn't want to find something astounding, there's nothing to that. There's truly nothing to it. And what I'm working with Andy to develop is like, you have a mystery, so Andy, You tell me how I solve this.
Now, this is Jim Vieira after they got hold of him and put him on television. Because before he was actually telling the truth, he was showing the real information. And Jim, if you're watching, I apologize. I reached out to you twice, but I haven't heard back. So there's that. In the Northeast specifically, but all over the United States, I've gone and looked at mounds. The America's Stonehenge is right up in New Hampshire. You can go up there and look at this. There is no way in the world a farmer placed 7-foot tall blocks here and there. You know what I mean? This is absolutely the work. This is not the work of colonial people that were farming. They were trying to, keep themselves eating, sheltered, so forth and so on. But in their spare time, they were moving 14 to 15 ton blocks and then making structures like this. This is actually America's Stonehenge. I've been up there before. I guess I'll get up there again and get some aerial footage. But at any rate, the evidence for giants is all over the United States. And oddly enough, I just clicked on the primordial egg, the Ogdode, which is coming on August 21st, once again. They have lied to us. They have medicated and dumbed people down so much that it's absolutely astounding to me. In the old days, there were newspaper clippings. Even Abraham Lincoln was quoted at Niagara Falls talking about the ancient giants that used to roam the United States and the world, all over the place. I mean, you can find tons of videos that have article after article after article like this one right here. And they all stopped right around World War II when the Smithsonian swooped in and started stifling everything. And the Smithsonian was started and taken over by Darwinists, basically. The elites took over because they have to continue to push their party line. Evidence of giants is all over the world. We are not as good as it gets. It's quite the contrary. We're about as bad as it gets. And it's going to get worse because they are going to try to loose these guys on us again, probably under the promise that they'll be able to reign supreme on the earth after they loose them. These guys are working with demonic entities that can never be redeemed. They came down to man. They raped women. They had their own children, so forth and so on. The Nephilims, the giants, again, it's all happening again. History is repeating itself. I'll leave a bunch of links in the description. Richie from Boston. Like, share, subscribe, and understand. Politicians lie to us. Science lies to us. Everyone's lying to us. I mean, for crying out loud. Carbon dioxide is killing the planet. Carbon dioxide is, always has been, and always will be plant food. But yet scientists are coming out, politicians are coming out, presidents are coming out and telling us that carbon dioxide is now bad when it's a perfectly normal part of photosynthesis. At any rate, Richie from Boston. Like, share, subscribe, or don't. I'm out.